Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about insurance. Because it is about insurance, broadly, you have to guess the framework. It talks about the recent reports or directions given by the apex body. That is one thing. But this editorial touches three things. One, widening the segments. That is one dimension. Second, affordability, second dimension. Third dimension, the focus is on senior citizens. Let us start the session with the question, what is this about? But before that, when you watch this video, what is the benefit? How are you going to get enriched? You will improve your vocabulary, one thing. You will improve your comprehension skill, your grammar knowledge, consolidation, effective English, a few idioms here and there, and also mini mocks. Good morning. Let us start with the question, what is this about? This editorial discusses the necessity of making health insurance more accessible and affordable for a wide demographic of citizens in India, particularly focusing on the growing senior population. As I said, there are two dimensions. One is affordability, the other one is focus on senior citizens. At the same time, widening the demographic groups, providing access to many groups. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is concerned and critical, yet informative. It provides information on the one hand. On the other hand, it is critical. Why is it critical? It is about the affordability point when you take factor critical, and also concerned because those who are 65 plus, they are barred from taking the policy. Based on that, the editorial shows concern. Let us see how it starts. Before that, let us have a look at the vocabulary. The words from today's editorial, which are part of effective vocabulary. The very first one, demographic. We have got this word many a time. Today, when we talk about India, we talk about demographic dividend. Means what? Any country that has a lot of youngsters, the youth, has the advantage. That advantage is known as demographic dividend. And if you take the word demography, that is a study of populations, noun. But here, demographic, adjective. A particular sector of a population could be old people, could be young people, could be kids, could be women, relating to the structure of populations, all about populations. The second word, affordable. Last week also we got this word. It has two different meanings. One meaning goes with the financial aspect. Imagine I want to buy a car, I don't have enough money. I will say, I can't afford a car. Means I don't have the financial status to buy the car. It is expensive for me. Second meaning, standing here, imagine I work for a company, and if I say something against the company, I may lose my job. Then I will say, I can't afford to say something against the company. Means what? I cannot take any chances. Here, the financial dimension, inexpensive, reasonably priced. You can afford, means what? You can buy. Surpass, part of speech verb, to do or be better or more than something else. Already someone has established a record and someone goes beyond that. Then we say he has surpassed the record. An important word. Cohort, an important word because, good morning to all of you. It is an important word because when we deal with editorial vocabulary, all the words are not difficult. Some are easy, some are familiar. But here and there we come across a few words which are difficult to remember, which are new, and which we use rarely. Whenever you come across those words, you have to be alert. After the session, you have to enter somewhere separately and revise regularly. Only then you can remember. What is the word here? Cohort, part of speech noun. A group of people with a shared characteristics or features. Similar features, a group, cohort. It has a negative connotation. Sometimes what happens is a VIP, the PM, the CM. Around him, we also use the word coterie for those people. A group of people, they try to influence. Then typical word coterie, but we can also use the word cohort. The next one, in my opinion, the word of the day, because we don't come across this word usually. Whenever we come across a rare word, we have to write somewhere separately. It has nothing to do with the word actual. What is the word here? Actuarial. Actuarial means part of speech adjective. A person whose job is to calculate risk for insurance companies and pension funds. In this context, not related to pension funds. Actuarial is a person, and what is his job? His job is to calculate the risk factor that goes with insurance companies. You may ask, sir, what is this risk factor? Imagine a youngster takes insurance, there's no risk for the company because a youngster, normal assessment, 60 years, 70 years, about 40, 50 years, he'll pay the regularly, he will make the payment. On the other hand, if an old man, 60 plus, takes insurance policy, the chances for the survival of that particular person, the chances are less. Then what happens? The company has to pay the policy amount, whatever the policy. The company is exposed to a risk. Keeping that in mind, a person, a professional, calculates the risk factor for the insurance company. The word for that particular person, actuarial. This you have to remember, in my opinion. What are the other words? Precipitate. Precipitate is a word that goes with chemistry. Precipitation, noun. Precipitate, verb. But in this context, a different meaning altogether. To make something happen suddenly or sooner than expected. Imagine there's a bad situation and someone tries to make it happen very soon. There's a bad situation likely to happen, but a person aggravates the situation, makes it happen sooner than expected, then we say he has precipitated the situation. And also in conversation English, when someone tries to do that, there is a situation where it may turn negative. There's a potential, there's a possibility, and someone tries to aggravate the situation, we say don't aggravate the situation or don't precipitate the situation, don't make it happen sooner than expected. An important word, exponential. When you learn English, when you read the editorial, you have to learn the contextual awareness, develop or improve. You have to learn the words. When it comes to vocabulary, a lot of students, what they do, they learn the word and the meaning. That is useful if you're not preparing for a competitive exam. That's okay. But while preparing for a competitive exam, that is of no use. Whenever you come across a new word, you have to know the part of speech, the meaning, the example, and the word forms, word usage, word combinations, synonyms, antonyms. Then you're ready for the exam. Coming to this word, exponential, the combination words, two words, one, growth, second, development. Exponential growth. This combination is important. It helps when it comes to fillers and close test. And also when you come across a particular context while reading the paper, already you know something, you have to recollect and consolidate. When we talk about a particular city, especially a city like Hyderabad, it is growing very fast. Then we say growing by leaps and bounds. The city is growing by leaps and bounds. Grow by leaps and bounds means grow rapidly. But sometimes what happens, the growth may be uneven. Some pockets they develop so well, and certain pockets are neglected. That means uneven. Then there's one important idiom. We say growing by leaps and bounds, but the growth is lopsided. Lopsided growth. That's an important expression. Lopsided growth means uneven growth. Exponential means growing or increasing very rapidly. Rapid growth, exponential growth, and growing by leaps and bounds. But here again, you have to recollect based on this word, two words you have to recollect, one word and one idiom. Proliferate also means the same, multiply rapidly, proliferate. And there's an important idiom, mushroom growth. Imagine in a particular city or a particular town, a lot of institutions come into existence all of a sudden. Every nook and corner we see institutions, coaching institutions. Then we say there is a proliferation of the institutes, one way of expressing that idea. And to use the idiom, there is a mushroom growth of institutes. Mushroom growth means many institutes all of a sudden. All these words are important from the exam point of view. What is the next one? Admire. Admire, it's a regular verb. You admire someone, you respect, you wonder, then we use the word admire. To regard with wonder, pleasure, or approval, we don't use. You look at someone with a lot of wonder, that means you're admiring that person. Edible also goes with effective English. We also use in conversational English. Imagine there is a fruit or a vegetable. Edible, not edible. Edible means what? Fit to be eaten. Part of speech, adjective. But in this context, in many exams, they've given a particular word. You have to recollect and you have to learn that. Portable. When we say portable, you can carry from one place to another place. But what is the spelling over here? The letter R is not there. Portable. Portable water. Water you can drink. You have to use the word portable. Food you can eat, edible. These two words are related. You have to remember. A reap. A reap goes with agriculture, harvest. But here, to get something, usually something good. Reap the benefits. Reap something means get something positive. The last word premise we got last week also part of speech verb. An idea or theory on which a statement or action is based. You propose a theory based on a particular idea. That idea is known as premise. That base is known as premise. These are the words from today's editorial. Let us go to the editorial and see what is there, how it starts. Ensuring the future. Because it is all about insurance, insurance is all about the future, ensuring the future on health insurance and a wide demographic of citizens. Wide demographic of citizens means wide range of citizens, wide many groups, youngsters, old people, kids, women, different segments of the society, wide demographic of citizens. But what is the main idea? While broadening eligibility, health insurance must be made affordable. There are two dimensions, as I said. One talks about widening the eligibility criteria, including different segments, thinking of all inclusive growth. But while doing that, the editor opines we should consider something like affordability. Imagine the policy is there, but it is not accessible, one problem. It is accessible but not affordable, another problem. Keeping that in mind, while broadening eligibility, including different segments or demographic groups, health insurance must be made. This is in passive voice. We must make something, active voice, something must be made, passive voice, affordable. Means what? People should be able to buy the policy, take the policy. Affordability is very important. This is the main idea of the editorial. The focus is on senior citizens. I always tell you guys when it comes to a particular editorial, why do they write? There should be some incident or some policy or some statement that acts as a stimulus. Based on that, the editorial, we see the editorial. And this one, based on a particular organization that is the apex body when it comes to insurance. What is that? The Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI, the apex regulator of insurance products. What is the meaning of the word apex? Must is used to express a personal obligation or to convey the idea something is compulsory. Very good. Who is that? Busy life. I appreciate your contribution. It shows you're attentive, you're with me. It also shows you're trying to consolidate your knowledge. The apex regulator of insurance products has asked companies. Here has asked present perfect tense in active voice. Has asked the apex body, top body, has asked the companies to do what? To enable a wide demographic of citizens to benefit from health insurance. Means to widen the scope to include more categories, demographic groups, to enable a wide demographic of citizens to benefit from health insurance. Most significantly, significantly means what? Importantly, most importantly, it directs the insurance companies or insurance providers to make health insurance available to senior citizens, as those above 65 are currently barred from issuing new policies for themselves. One thing it says, wide enable a wide demographic of citizens, include more groups, one thing. Second, the focus on senior citizens. It says, as of now, senior citizens who are 65 plus, they are barred from taking the policy. Bar here means a prevent or prohibit. Where is the word bar? Here, as those above 65 are currently barred, means what? Prevent or prohibit. It directs insurance providers to make health insurance available to senior citizens. Why should it be available to senior citizens? Because the senior citizens 65 plus right now are barred from taking the policy, means prohibited from, prevented from issuing new policies for themselves. Here, issuing new policies means taking a policy for themselves. This is the main idea. This is clearly an acknowledgement of demographic changes underway in India. Why has it directed? The apex body has directed the insurance companies to consider 65 plus people. Why? What is the reason behind? This sentence provides a reason. This is clearly an acknowledgement, accepting of demographic changes underway in India. Demographic changes underway means going on right now in India. What are those changes? Though India's population figures have not been officially accounted for since 2011, estimates from the UN Population Fund and experts suggest that India's population is nearly level with China, either level with China and may have surpassed it sometime in 2023. Usually we have significantly means importantly, mainly. If you take a population of a particular country, how do we get the population profile based on census? You all know census once in 10 years, and last census 2011, supposed to be done after that 2021. But so far, census data we don't have, they haven't conducted. But we have other sources. The sentence talks about China is the number one when it comes to population. This sentence talks about not based on the census but based on other sources. India either must have leveled China or it may have surpassed the population of China in 2023. There's one important pattern here, may have surpassed. But before that, though India's population, though is a contrasting word. Usually students ask me, sir, what is the difference between although, though? Although is a formal word, one difference. Although comes at the beginning of a sentence. Though may come at the beginning or in the middle. Here it is at the beginning. Though India's population figures haven't been officially accounted for. Account for means to explain. And here haven't been accounted for. It is in present perfect tense, passive voice, not active voice, passive voice. Haven't been officially accounted for since 2011. Estimates from other sources. What are the other sources? From the UN Population Fund and experts suggest that India's population is nearly level with China, at the same level, and may have surpassed it sometime in 2023. May have crossed the population of China. There's one pattern here. Generally, we use might. We can also use may. May, we prefer might. Might plus have plus verb Past participle form. What is a function used to express a past possibility, which is a guess, which is a guess. What exactly does it mean? Not higher chances, past possibility, which is a guess. I will give a typical example. Then you understand. Imagine yesterday there was a party. Many people came. I lost my gold chain. I don't know who took the chain, who stole the chain. It happened in the past, past possibility. And when I don't know, I make a guess. Imagine I suspect the servant. Then I say the servant might have stolen the chain. The servant may have stolen the chain. This talks about precisely a past possibility, which is a guess. My guess, I'm not sure. It talks about may have surpassed it sometime in 2023. The India Aging Report, this sentence talks about a particular report. What is that report? The India Aging Report 2023, which draws, here draw means get, collect, which draws from UN projections, estimates that India's cohort of seniors, group of seniors, those above 60, will increase from about 10% of the population, 149 million in 2022, to 30%, 347 million by 2050. That is more than the current population of the US. Several of the most developed countries already have their senior demographic 65 plus ranging from 16% to 28%. All these sentences talk about the senior citizens. According to Aging India Aging Report, the percentage and drawing the information, collecting the information from UN projections, it estimates that India's cohort of seniors, that means that those above 60, when do we say senior citizens 60 plus, will increase, their percentage will increase from what to what? 10% to 30%, 149 million to 347 million by 2050. It also talks about, it says this number equivalent to current population of the US. Then it talks about, next two or three sentences talk about other countries, developed countries, what are their policies towards senior citizens and how are they managing. They also have the same problem. Coming to the next one from here, several of the most developed countries already have their senior demographic 65 plus ranging from 16% to 28%. What are their policies? That is already precipitating considerable worry within these populations. That is already precipitating means something like making a bad thing happen sooner than expected. Considerable worry within these populations. That means aging, those who are 65 plus. And what are the worries related to what? On access to healthcare, first thing. Second, affordable medicine. Third, appropriate caregiving infrastructure to support them. This talks about the worries or apprehensions related to or of senior citizens, especially those who are 65 plus. And if you take senior citizens in this context, 65 plus, they have three worries. And what are the three worries? One is access to healthcare. Second one, affordable medicine, whether they can afford or not. And third one, appropriate caregiving infrastructure to support them. Some of these economically developed countries have government funded public health systems. Some have government funded public health systems. Then there's no issue as such. And others are entirely dependent on private health care. When it comes to private health care, cost matters a lot. Affordability matters a lot. With cost being a significant determinant in access to quality care. Public sector, all are the same. When it goes to the private sector, The quality of service depends on your affordability. The more you pay, the better service you get. It goes without saying. In many of these countries, there is no entry barrier to health insurance policies. If you take the developed countries, there is no entry barrier. Anyone can take the policy. That is one thing. But uh, there's a clause that talks about contrasting information. In many of these countries, there is no entry barrier to health insurance policies, though, contrasting word, though, following principles of actuarial economics from centuries ago, health insurance gets progressively and sometimes exponentially more expensive as age advances. What it means, they have health insurance policies, and if you take those policies, there's no age barrier. Anyone can take the policy. But there's another factor on the negative side. What is it? When it comes to senior citizens 65 plus, though those countries, though they're eligible, the cost factor changes because there's a risk for the insurance company. This sentence talks about that. Following principles of actuarial economics means a risk factor for the insurance company being followed for centuries. Health insurance gets progressively and sometimes exponentially more expensive as age advances. Senior citizens, they have to pay more, it becomes more expensive. Why? Because of the risk factor to insurance companies. Already a small single digit percentage of India's economic elite can afford equivalent of family floater plans that take care of individuals and their parents at a cost lower than what individual senior citizen health insurance would cost. This talks about, if you look at India, we have only a few are rich, extremely rich. For those people, elite, we have been getting for the last 3 or 4 days. And the percentage single digit means only a few are very rich, and these people can afford something equivalent to family floater plans. In this plan, if they take this plan, the policy takes care of the individuals and also the individual's parents also. And this is less expensive, less affordable compared to what a senior citizen has to take, lower than what individual senior citizen health insurance would cost. If the only effect of the IRDA's recent circular is to provide many more unaffordable health insurance policies, it would be equivalent to admiring the icing on an inedible cake. What it says here, editorial criticizes the IRDA's policies or whatever stand IRDA has taken. If the only effect of the IRDA's recent circular is to provide many more, they should be affordable, but unaffordable policies, then it is similar to, it would be equivalent to, similar to admiring the icing on an inedible cake. If you take a cake, icing the top layer, imagine there's an icing, you admire that, but that cake is not edible, then it does not make any sense. No use of having the cake. Here it is criticizing IRDA. Much has been made of the next 2 decades being critical to India's future on the reasoning that this is a time that India must reap its demographic dividend. Coming 2 decades are very crucial for India. What is the reason behind? The sentence says coming 2 decades have been projected as critical or important for India. On what basis? What is the reason behind? The reason behind is India has to reap the demographic dividend. Coming 2 decades, India has to reap, get the benefits of having this demographic dividend, means the youngsters. If it misses, then it is going to be, it is like not using an important resource critical to India's future on the reasoning that this is a time that India must reap its demographic dividend. This is premised on a large population of workforce, large proportion of the workforce moving out of agriculture, and inevitably followed by a breakdown of the traditional caregiving structure for the aged. What is it based on? It is premised on, today, if you look at India, what is happening? Many people are leaving the villages and are going to towns and cities in search of a job because these people are highly qualified. And because of that, there's a particular system, traditional system. What is that? If you take India as such, in the past we had joint families. Do we have joint families now? Answer my question. In the past, India known for joint families. Do we have joint families now? No. What is the reason? In the past, everyone would depend on agriculture, fathers, sons, the families. But today, because of education, with the advent of British, with the advent of education, they started learning. One became a doctor, another became an engineer. They had to go out. Then there are two problems. One, joint family system. Now we don't come across. Second, traditional profession, agriculture being neglected. Third, in this context, the most important, when these youngsters leave the village and go to a town or city, the aged parents, there's no one to take care of them. The traditional system is broken down. This sentence talks about that. This is premised on a large proportion of the workforce moving out of agriculture, and inevitably, inevitable means something that is going to happen, not going to, no one can stop. Inevitable means about to happen. Followed by a breakdown of the traditional caregiving structure for the aged. The experience in several southern Indian states is telling. Here, is telling means it is evident, obvious. If you take southern states, especially southern states, a lot of youngsters, highly qualified, they go abroad and Gulf or US or any part of the world. Then behind they leave the aged parents, and there is no one to take care of them. Then the traditional caretaking system is broken down. This sentence talks about that. Good, you have responded. How does it end? The main idea is being reiterated. Thus, broadening the eligibility of health insurance should be accompanied by, we should accompany active voice, something should be accompanied passive voice. Thus, broadening the eligibility of health insurance should be accompanied by a massive upgradation of affordable health care. As I said, they're trying to widen the demographic groups, but it should be done at the same time. They should think of affordability. While doing that, they have to focus on affordability aspect. Main idea is being reiterated. Let us go to mini mocks. It is time for you guys to respond based on first five questions, based on your comprehension skill, to what extent you have understood the editorial analysis or the editorial, and answer the first question. What recent directive has the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI, issued regarding health insurance? What is a recent? Based on that, this editorial has been written. What is it? Restricting access. Here, directive by or from this IRDAI, it has to be something positive. Restricting access to health insurance for senior citizens? No. Limiting, negative word. Focus on the negative words. Limiting the coverage? Again, not correct. Mandating that health insurance policies only cover specific medical conditions, in a way restricting. What is the answer? Already some students have answered. Very good. B is the answer. Allowing senior citizens aged 65 and above to obtain health insurance policies. That is the main idea, one of the ideas rather. Question number 2. According to the India Aging Report 2023, what is the projected increase in India's senior population by 2050? When you read a passage, if you come across statistical data, you have to focus. You can expect one or two questions. In the editorial, clearly mentioned based on the aging report, from what percent to what percent by 2050. It is not 5 to 15. It is not 20 to 10. Reverse, it cannot be. No significant change. Categorically mentioned from 10% to 30% by 2050. Rather easy. Yes, you're right. You got it right. Question number 3. What concern does the editorial express regarding the affordability of health insurance policies for seniors in India? There are two key words. One is concern by the editorial regarding what? Affordability by senior citizens. This is a challenging one, you have to read carefully. Try to get the correct option. They are currently free for all senior citizens. They are expected to become more affordable in the future. They may remain prohibitively expensive for many individuals. The key word here, concern. Concern means what? Concern about something negative. Once you understand that, you will be able to get the correct option. No, it is not second one. They are expected to become more affordable. Then why should the editorial have concern? That's what I was trying to tell you guys. What concern does the editorial express? Express concern means that there's a problem. More affordable, not a problem, solution. Answer is C. Who is this? Nagendra Babu and Lakshmi, they got it right. C is the answer. They may remain prohibitively expensive for many individuals. That is the point. Editorial talks about a widening of the demographic groups, affordability factor, and third, senior citizens. C is the answer. Next one is also challenging. Read carefully. How does the editorial characterize the potential impact of simply broadening eligibility for health insurance policies? Impact of what? Widening the groups, broadening the groups. What is the potential impact? First, you have to decide positive impact or negative impact. Then, it would provide a feasible solution. It would exacerbate, means make something worse. Affordability issues without addressing the root cause. It would lead to a decrease in the quality. This we cannot say. It would ensure equitable access to healthcare for all citizens. No. What is the answer? No one has responded. B is the answer. If they keep on expanding the segments without looking at the root cause, what is the root cause? Affordability is the main problem. It would exacerbate, make something worse, affordability issues without addressing the root cause. C is the answer. No, no, no. Fourth one. Sorry, B. B is the answer. It would exacerbate affordability issues without addressing the root cause. Good. I appreciate those who have chosen Suma and Nagendra Babu. Who else? Lakshmi. Good. Very good. Question number 5. What is the editorial stance or stand regarding the future of India's healthcare system? What is opinion? What is the stand taken by the editorial regarding the future of India's healthcare system? Optimistic. You have to be very careful. Overall, what does the editorial say? Critical, informative, and concerned. Three words I have used. Tone of the editorial. Based on that, it cannot be positive. Optimistic? No. Believes that the current healthcare system is sufficient? No. We cannot consider positive words. It suggests that healthcare should remain a low priority. Why will it do that? It advocates for significant improvements in affordability and quality of healthcare services. The main issue is affordability. Good. Those who have got all the 5, please respond. Those who have got all the 5 correct, say, sir, I got all the 5 correct. That is highly appreciable. You should be happy. Let us go to error location. Read the first one and try to spot the error. Should not be that difficult. A very short sentence, easy to comprehend. A good part of the world's population is growing older, and India mirrored this trend as well. Excuse me. Yes, Puja 5C, busy life also 5C. Good. Shravani also 5C. Please go to error location, try to spot the error. Good, Nagendra Babu, I appreciate that. All the 5 correct, wonderful. In a live session, not that easy. But work on error location questions. A good part of the world's population is growing. A good part, part singular, this is the subject, Of the world's population, a phrase is growing, nothing wrong, older. And India here in the second clause subject, third person singular, sentence is in affirmative form. Then what does the rule tell? Present tense affirmative, if the subject is third person singular, we should add s or es to the verb. Based on that, it is not mirror. We have to say mirrors. India mirrors this trend as well. Mirror here is good, very good. I appreciate that. Maladi. That is a attitude, positive attitude one should have. Here, mirror is usually a noun, but in this context, verb. To the verb, we should add s, mirrors. Let us go to the next one. The reality is that the population above 60 years shall double from 10.5% or 14.9 crore as on July 1st, 2022 to 20.8% or 34.7 crore by 2050. Not from this editorial, some other editorial, but related to aging, population, demographic data. May double. You got Lakshmi, you got it, but not the exact word. You could make out where the error is. We have an error in the second part. What is the subject? The reality is that the population above 60 years population, third person singular. And you have to recollect an important rule that goes with all the future tenses. We can use will or shall. You, he, she, it, they, we can use only will. We cannot use shall. Based on that, here, shall is not correct. It should be the population above 60 years will double. Will is the appropriate helping verb. An important rule they have given many a time, and I'm sure you all know we, will or shall, you, he, she, it, they only will. Go to the last one. At 60 years, a person in India may expect to live another 18.3 years, which is higher in the case of women at 19 years compared with men at 17.5 years. Try to spot the error, the last one. After that, we have idioms. No one has responded. Question number 3, error location. How come no response? Huh. Who? At 60 years, a person in India may expect to live another 18.3 years. No. Which is higher than? Which is? Here we are talking about a fact. Nothing wrong with which. Pramod says a fourth part. Shravani also. What is wrong with the fourth part? Which is higher in the case of women at 19 years compared to or compared with? Oh, no. Which is correct? Here, compared to men at 17.5 years. Yes, Lakshmi got it right now. Let us go to the last slide. Important idioms, 5 idioms. Try to get all the 5 correct. Effective English, we have 2 topics. One, idioms, the other, phrasal verbs. One shot, you can get 5 marks if you are good at these compared to. Yes, very good. Shravani, Busy Life, Pramod Kumar, I appreciate. Lakshmi, wonderful. Try to get all the 5 correct. Make a beeline. They have made a beeline for the tickets. They have made a beeline for drinking water. Means what? A rush for something. Here, first one, C. Wild goose chase. Wild goose chase means what? A foolish and hopeless search for or pursuit of something unattainable. Something is not feasible, something is not going to happen, still you try for that. Then we say a wild goose chase. Second one, it is E. First one is C, second one is E. All these are very important. Good, Nagendra Babu, I appreciate that. White elephant. They have given SBI many a time, many of these. White elephant means what? Possession that its owner cannot dispose of and whose cost, particularly that of maintenance, is out of proportion to its usefulness. You have bought something very expensive. You cannot sell it, you cannot keep it. If you keep it, you have to spend a lot of money. Then we say it has become a white elephant. Here, white elephant, D is the answer. Eager beaver. Beaver is an animal, always active. It constructs bridges in water, not the large scale bridges, small ones. Always working hard, very eager to work. Eager beaver means what? A person who is excited about doing certain work. B. And dog days, very hot days. Here. Peak summer, May third week, hottest days, third week of May. Then we use the dog days. Dog days means the hottest days, peak summer. That's all for today. I appreciate your response. Keep responding. You will consolidate, mark my words, you will improve your English and do attend regularly. Try to respond, try to answer. That will help in the long run. Have a nice day and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much.